Do sea elementals erode the foe's spirit in Tides of Torment? Well, they don't erode walls, so I can't use that. The sea elemental is a bigger oceanid, the Big Daddy, that, when low health, splits off some of itself to create oceanids to self-destruct in the enemy's face. For such a fluid and flexible entity, it's a sore loser. Recruited for 1650 gold and 413 upkeep, on Ultra it comes with 10,400 health, 0 armor, 30% physical resistance, 20% missile resistance, and 20% fire resistance. You've mentioned this could be higher. Yes, but since it works with the other resistances, they probably didn't want to get that crazy. Leadership comes in at a respectable 70, speed 65 and charge speed 90 are strong, melee attack begins at 45, attack interval the standard 4 seconds, splash target size large, so trolls will dilute watery damage, and max targets damaged by splash are 6. Melee defense begins at 70, which is crazy high. Weapon strength for 175 is split base 175 and armor piercing 300, a good split, with a bonus versus infantry of 20, which makes it really good, even as default, at wearing down elite infantry. Charge bonus is 32 and mass is 6000. So, with the elemental attribute, and thus the high physical resistance, and disintegrating rather than fleeing, split up triggers when it goes below 25% health, creating a suicide squad of weaker oceanids. Entities explode upon death. Standard wounds debuff applies, as with other single entities. I don't even bother mentioning it usually. Like the oceanids, the sea elemental has immunity to contact effects, aquatic, strider, and I can only hope that doesn't interfere with aquatic, and it shouldn't, but bugs. Causes fear and terror, and perfect vigor for never ever getting tired. It is considered a siege attacker. The active ability is quite something. The Writhing Mists. One used by default, and perhaps Aislinn adds more, range 100 meters, 35 meter radius, duration 24 seconds, cooldown 56 seconds, would apply if multiple uses are gained. This has effects on friendlies and foes. On friendlies, it gives missile block chance plus 30%, 360-degree missile block, stalk, and snipe. Now, that's not for long, but I'm sure there are plays that can be made with this. If nothing else, it keeps your archers completely safe for 24 seconds if enemy ranged can't see them. On enemies, it dishes out leadership -8 and melee defense -24. Yes, a high elf unit that lowers melee defense. What is the world coming to? Oh yeah, these are the end times. Gotcha. Like Oceanids, Master Strategist at 3 pips, grants +6 melee attack and +6 melee defense, and nothing, at all, is wrong with that. Similarly, rank 7 and up ones benefit from Silver Torrent for +10% speed, +12% weapon strength, and +15% missile resistance. In the tech tree, Seaborn Creatures adds another +10% missile resistance and +5 melee attack, which is really good for obvious reasons. Allies of the Elements adds +5 leadership, +5% speed, and +5 melee defense, all very good too. For Aislinn, Blessed Seawater adds +2 recruit rank, and Rising Tide adds weapon strength +10% and charge bonus +10 flat. So how do we use Sea Elementals? Essentially, the mainline and Aislinn answer to Ancient Treeman. The Sea Elemental remains a nightmare to fight and defeat in melee combat, except for very specialized things, and even then, it'll murder infantry even more before it finally dies. Shooting it a lot will help, though even that hits some bad damage resistances. It's to the point your most efficient tactic would be to Spirit Leech, but that cost wins, and you don't want to do that unless the enemy lord is already dead, and so on and so forth. So in practice, it's the Oceanids bulked up to weightlifting champion levels. It's a single entity with the advantages and disadvantages thereof. It's stupidly defensive, even against giants smacking it around, and it'll delay and deny the enemy, but against large opponents, it's not that good on offense, though it is armor piercing and all that. Basically, a wall of treekin would be its worst case scenario for a rapid advance. Countering it with its own battlefield role is a valid option, but there's not a whole lot of that in the game. Otherwise, it's just too annoying to take down, but also too robust to ignore, so it creates quite a problem for the opposition. This explains why the High Elf player wants to bring one. That said, a determined enemy with enough raw firepower will eventually burn that HP down. Otherwise, cue the pay-to-win calls. But the High Elf faction benefits immensely from the potential to bring this unit. The buffs are appropriate and detract nothing. It's just that 6 target splash maximum isn't going to wreck entire armies within an acceptable time frame. You still need the sources of damage. Slotting this into an army is fine. Replacing all your killy ranged forces with them is more for auto-resolves than real battles. Either way, I'm sure you can find uses. I didn't want to make this script all about this, but collision attacks were confirmed during the making of the video, so that's even more damage. And that active ability by itself will redeem White Lions not having really cracked melee attack, but having plenty of damage to dish at. The uses are obvious, and even if it's once per battle, it can turn the tide of an entire melee. The missile block is nice temporarily too, so I'd call that kind of thing a synergy. Take care, and have fun drowning your enemy in sorrows.